Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Shadows of the Damned. We're entering Act 3-3, As Evil is Dead. And yes, that is a reference to what you think it is.
What's wrong, baby? She's gone psycho! Run for your life!
I hate to say it, G, but your girl has gone mental.
She's always been crazy. That is why I love her.
But she never gets mad at you.
Oh, she gets mad. One morning, after a bout of passionate lovemaking, she was making us coffee just to get a reaction. I told her I was married.
You were being funny?
Yeah, a practical joke, you know?
Chicks love those.
Paula was so angry, she grabbed a knife and chased me all over the apartment. She is scary with a knife.
She's pretty scary here, too. And this part of the game is actually one that people who've played it hate the most, because if Paula catches us, she kills us instantly. Alright, and then we just run right into the second Grim Reaper fight. Well, the first Sister Grimm ended up not being too much trouble, and the second one is actually easier. Because at this point in time, we figured out that we want them to bring on the darkness. And when this sister does, like the first one, she appears in her weak form. However, this one will create duplicates of herself to try to throw you off the track, but only one of them is going to actually glow. And there she is. And I do believe that it is the real one that dives into attack first. If she actually succeeded in attacking, the others would start diving in as well. And every time she does this, she creates more clones. Still, it's no big deal to actually find the real one before they get to attack. So even though the Sister Grimms are supposed to be the most powerful in the underworld, really not much of a big deal. Two out of 3 down. Like the other bosses, she left behind a blue gem. The sisters really have been kind of disappointing up to this point. That's right, we did get a red gem, and we have upgraded the power of our weapon so far, and I did say we would get to work on our health. And we do have a few empty slots in there to go. You might at first want to go straight for that blue gem, but that'd be a mistake. Let's take a detour to the right. Because even though it seems like there's nothing there, and it is a dead end, but right around the corner, hey, another red gem. Let's pick it up. Okay, now let's get to that blue gem.
Now here's a pretty prize. I smell an upgrade. Plug it in, G.
And with another blue gem, we get another upgrade. The Teether becomes the Teeth Grinder. It gets a lot more barrels, can fire a lot more teeth at once. Let's take a look at that. Oh yes, much bigger, many more laser sights. And we did pick up that other red gem. Actually, we might not want to use those the instant we get them, because when we upgrade our health maximum, we restore all of our health at once. So we might actually want to save some of those red gems not use them right away, just in case we end up in a situation where we need to restore our health. I mean, maybe we run low on alcohol. Eyeball? Let's see if we can find that kid his eyeball. I'm taking things in a bit of a different way this time, as I'm doing some post-commentary. I've recorded the video and doing some commentary after the fact. So while the past me shoots up these zombies, let me just take a look at something here. I asked before, in the previous blog post, I asked what people thought of the graphics of this game. And it seemed to be that people were thinking that, at least the people that responded, did like the art style, and they thought that the use of colors was very nice. Satan's best buddy in the comments mentioned that he wondered what this game would look like if Suda had got in his way and was allowed to use an art style that was more cartoonish and cel-shaded, perhaps something more in the vein of Killer 7. That does sound like it would be interesting. I don't know if it's the case that he was held back and not allowed to go as far out as he wanted. If that's true, it would be a shame, because the value in Suda is how he can just go really crazy, really outrageous, but in a controlled, deliberate way.
I think these pescados locos have taken a shine to us.
Oh yeah, this is actually a pretty tough part, as, yeah.
We can't see their eyes if they're wearing a mask.
Because of that. Because it's pitch black around us, and if they're wearing a mask, we can't see them. But yeah, if it is the case, I did notice that this game seemed a bit kind of mundane for what you might expect from Suda. If you take a look at Killer 7, if you take a look at No More Heroes, this seems actually kind of ordinary in comparison, compared to what you might expect from him. So if it was true that he was held back and reined in, that actually might explain some things. Oh, hold on, we have a new enemy here. He's very fast, and he has knife arms. If we get in the light, we'll get a better look at him. Yeah, there he is. He's very fast to dodge our attacks. So this part is a little bit frustrating because of that guy. As well as in the comments, Cheeto88 said art style and design is always more important than the technical aspects of graphics. I usually agree with that myself. I think Shadows of the Dam looks good. I'm not blown away by it, but at least it has the merit to be original with its art direction. Yeah, I agree. It's not the most high-budget game, but it looks decent on a technical level. And I really do like the art style. Zoe next says that it reminds her of Corpse Bride in the idea that the underworld is very colorful and, as she says, playful insanity. And that seems to be the case here, that the very beginning of the game is the only part that we see that's in the living world. And when we get into the underworld, things do seem to get very, very colorful. Hold on a moment. Yeah, there we go. I thought that guy was still around. Basically what we're doing here is we're waiting for our sushi light to finish its travel, which it has, ending up by this mysterious cabin. And we just have to finish off the demons that have been coming at us. Oh yeah, that guy actually can also block our shots, even with something like the Skull Cushioner. So that's another reason why he's a pain. Okay, but we've taken out everyone, and we've ended up at this cabin. Let's remember what the chapter's called.
Why do I feel like I'm in a movie?
What, were you raised in a barn?
Good to know we have the same tastes.
Right, and if you are playing Shadows of the Damned, most likely you'll get the references here. Though Bruce Campbell never did that.
For God's sake, how do you stop them? Motherfuck!
Paula's crawled away into that little hole in the wall. However, we can't follow her. I'm not sure if we would want to. But we end up in this basement. We can't actually get back up into the cabin because those stairs are kind of, well, they're not really accessible. But we've ended up in a basement with a mysterious book. Let's have a read.
The Legend of the Stinky Crow. Gaul, Gaul. For nearly 14 years, his mind had been soaring miles above. But Elliot Thomas was still stuck down on Earth in the boring town of Sinchester.
Sinster.
What?
It's pronounced Sinster.
How do you know?
My cousin's from Sinster. Never mind. Keep going.
Alone in his treehouse, he glued feathers to his wingsuit, readying himself for the day he would join the Phoenixes and Quetzalcoatlus in the sky. "Dinner time," cried his mother from their house across the yard. Elliot sat at the center of the table. A TV dinner was challenging his BO as the dominant smell in the room. On his left, his mother yammered about her day at the ER. On his right, his father was absorbed in his smartphone. As for Elliot, his eyes were fixed on the ceiling fan, the most fascinating personality within a 10-foot radius. In homeroom the next day, Justin Schmakovsky threw a crappy paper airplane at him. Within seconds, Elliot had built a superior vessel. He stood up on his chair and swiftly launched the Papierflieger. What? At his unsuspecting enemy.
Go, Papierflieger, go!
Zoom, splort. The marvel of paper aviation lodged itself in Justin's tender eyeball. "Mr. Thomas," bellowed their teacher, "go to the principal's office." Later that day, Elliot was cooing quietly to himself as he bought a candy bar in the lobby. Casey Witchtits was smoking nearby and sneered at him. "You'll never fly, stinky crow," she laughed. "Why don't you go jack off to some bird porn? I bet you do more fapping than flapping."
Hey, that's pretty good.
"Fuck you!" screeched Elliot as he ran for the door. It was dark out by the time Elliot meandered home. On the sidewalk, he passed a gaunt man who stared at him intently, desperately even.
Uh-oh, stranger danger.
The man opened his mouth and said, Uviwa, Uviza. What the fuck? Elliot had planned to eat his candy bar tonight while he finished his masterpiece, but he instead held it out to the man. I know what you mean, he replied. The schoolyard was packed the next morning as Elliot's classmates waited for first bell. Go, go! As one, the students turned toward the gate and saw Elliot dressed head to toe in his wingsuit. After a moment of shock, they burst into laughter. But they were already far below him. He swooped through their midst and into the school. Go, go! He bounded through the halls, zigzagged up the stairwell. Go! The school let out a collective gasp when they saw a stinky crow on the roof. With a triumphant snap, he spread his wings, and a moment later, he had leapt. The next 2 seconds were the most beautiful of Elliot's entire life. He could feel their eyes upon him. He was flying, and their awe was keeping him aloft. 10 minutes later, as guidance counselors wiped bits of Elliot off sobbing students, and the police struggled to piece together the story you are reading now, Elliot's teacher looked down at the wreckage of the boy on the pavement and never forgot what he saw. One bloody hand had formed a peace sign. The other was giving him the finger. It's like an Alanis Morissette song. The end.
Okay, lovely. I don't think I'll sleep for weeks.
Quidad cojones.
Another beautiful story. And of course, as we remember, the last time we found one of these storybooks, it was about George Reed, who we fought as a boss. But we have not encountered any stinky... Hey, it's Christopher.
Oh, I would hate to be the dumbass that got tricked into renting that cabin.
We don't have enough red gems white gems to buy another red gem.
Take care now.
That's okay. So with that, that should be enough for today's video. I'll see you next time. Maybe we'll meet that stinky crow.